A missile arcs over the Pacific, invisible to radar until it's too late. Somewhere in the Gobi Desert, a launch plume flashes, and minutes later, a hypersonic glide vehicle maneuvers at Mach-10, hugging the edge of space. The race for hypersonic supremacy isn't just theoretical, it's unfolding now, measured in kilometers per second and the shrinking margins of response time. So what makes hypersonic weapons so disruptive? Geography and infrastructure set the stage. The US maintains launch complexes at Cape Canaveral, Vandenberg, and Pacific ranges, but China's test corridors stretch across Xinjiang and Inner Mongolia, while Russia leverages vast Eurasian expanses for flight trials. These sites aren't just for show, they enable repeated instrumented tests over thousands of miles, supporting rapid iteration. Meanwhile, the hardware itself is still evolving. The US Long-Range Hypersonic Weapon, or LRHW, reportedly reaches Mach-17 over distances of 1,725 miles in recent trials. That's over 20,000 kilometers per hour, enough to cross the continental US in under 15 minutes. China's DF-17 and Russia's Avangard both field operational hypersonic glide vehicles, with open-source estimates placing their speeds between Mach 5 and Mach 20, and reported ranges from 1,000 to over 3,700 miles depending on payload and trajectory. But why does this matter in the general scheme of things? These speeds, traditional missile defense systems designed for ballistic arcs or subsonic cruise missiles, struggle to track and intercept. Hypersonic vehicles can maneuver mid-flight, exploiting gaps in radar coverage and compressing decision windows to mere minutes. For example, a Mach-10 weapon launched from the Russian Arctic could reach European capitals in under 10 minutes, bypassing most layered defenses. Now, obviously, this changes the entire calculus. The US has invested billions in programs like the LRHW and the hypersonic air-breathing weapon concept, but deployment is still lagging behind. China paraded its DF-17 in 2019, signaling operational readiness, and Russia claims to have fielded the Avangard since 2019 as well. Now, the US remains in the advanced testing phase, with initial LRHW batteries expected to become operational in the next 2 years. The US faces a window of vulnerability at the moment. While American hypersonic systems can theoretically reach any point on the globe, the lack of deployed units limits deterrence. Meanwhile, rivals can threaten US assets and allies with weapons that are difficult to track, let alone intercept. And don't get it confused, because this is not a moral judgment, it's an analysis of incentives and logistics. So how does this shift the balance? Hypersonic weapons enable prompt global strike, the ability to hit high-value targets anywhere with little to no warning. They also complicate escalation management, since their speed and maneuverability blur the line between conventional and nuclear payloads. Now, decision makers may have only minutes to assess the intent and respond, raising the risk of miscalculation. So with that being said, countermeasures are in motion. The US is accelerating sensor networks, including low Earth orbit satellites designed to track hypersonic threats from launch all the way to impact. New interceptor concepts like the Glide Phase Interceptor aim to engage hypersonic vehicles during their most vulnerable flight segment. But these systems are years from full deployment, and adversaries continue to iterate. Now, zooming out, the race for hypersonic supremacy is not just about speed. It's about compressing the timeline of conflict and denying sanctuary and forcing rivals to invest in costly new defenses. The side that feels reliable and survivable hypersonic systems first gains the leverage, not just in deterrence, but in shaping the rules of escalation. By any measure, the current trajectory favors those who can test, deploy, and adapt at scale. And the US retains technological depth and global basing, but China and Russia have demonstrated operational systems and the political will to use them as signaling tools. So the next 2 years will be decisive in determining whether the US closes the gap or faces a prolonged period of strategic catch-up. In the end, hypersonic weapons redraw the map of deterrence. And the race is not just about who can go faster, but who can adapt their infrastructure, sensors, and doctrine to a world where warning times are measured in minutes, not hours. And it's very clear now that the outcome will reverberate beyond the test ranges, shaping alliances, crisis stability, and the future of strategic competition. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe for more.